What is up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. Today is gonna be a special one. What we're gonna be doing is actually trying to mount the K24, which is to the right of me, and this disgusting W58 transmission, which we're going to quickly clean, the magic of snapping, to this. So we got it about, I'd say 85% clean, 90% clean. We only took off the bell housing and then like little things here and there, bolts. Then we sprayed it down with a, you can touch it and not get dirty. That is key in keeping the shop clean from here on out. So now let's get started with my idea that I'm not sure that's gonna work. So before we get too far ahead, one of the first things I've been wanting to try and find out is exactly where this shifter is going to sit up top and where the bell housing ends in terms of the transmission tunnel, just to make sure we have enough clearance here for this or for the other one. So it'll kind of tell us if we need some spacing here or what the deal is or how we're gonna go about this. I can't find any information on this exact swap online anywhere. So this is gonna be more of a guessing game. So we have the transmission in the tunnel. It is precisely where we want it in the shifter location. This is a good spot for it. It's pretty much loose in there. If I could fasten it, we have a little bit of wiggle room all the way around. It opens up right at the same time. The shifter location to the firewall, it fits pretty much perfect. Could probably be cocked a little bit farther that way or clockwise, but in terms of location, it couldn't have been better. So this is the part where it gets fun, and we're going to attempt to make something happen that's not supposed to happen. Okay guys, it is day number 2, first day in, well, it's been a day or two since the initial beginning of this video. Main reason is I wanted to figure out exactly what I was doing, and yeah. So a lot of brainstorming has gone into this and a lot of little measurements and tedious little things, and I think we figured out the best recipe. Let me show you guys what we have. Also, don't be weirded out. It's somehow this morning was 30 degrees, so I put on a sweater, but now it's like 60 degrees, and so I'm in shorts. So yeah, remember guys, thick thighs matter too. So we're gonna be rocking the legs out today, and the guns are going away since we've been dropping some weight too. We have put the K24 on a bit of a DIY wooden stand because we needed something to where we could access these bearings and a lot of this measuring that we needed to do back here. And obviously it's not beautiful, but it definitely did the job. We got our measurements, we got a couple of our parts machined. The pilot bearing for the K24 needs to get custom machined by a machine shop close by. Luckily we found a good shop that will do it for relatively cheap. This is a bit of a hefty piece, let me show you. Got 1/2 inch of, well, no, it doesn't say, but it's 1/2 inch thickness of 6061 aluminum. And this should give us the perfect material that we need to make it happen. Oh yes, the measurements, so it's 1/2 inch, and then width 20 inches, height 20 inches. So we're gonna try to not mess up, and wish us luck. So this is our exact center spot. So 37 overall diameter. 37 divided by 2, 18.5. So now we have a rough idea of where it's gonna go. We have successfully finished the center hole of the adapter plate. It took longer than expected, but I wanted it to be perfect so that the diameter of everything was perfect. And meanwhile, I actually left you guys here for a second, and I went to go grab our little bushing or bearing. So essentially this one is gonna go right in there, and the tolerances is like really tight. Yeah, there we go. So it essentially, what this does is it's going to stick out a touch to make up for the thickness of this, so that whenever I do go to put on the clutch and the other transmission, it doesn't fall short because of this thickness that I added here, if that makes any sense. So this will help make up for this. So another obstacle that is slightly different than your typical swap is that, unlike a regular car K-swaps, they are not usually straight like this or horizontal from the block. They actually come on a tilt. The correct way to tilt the engine is on the what do you call this, on the oil pan. So what you have to do is essentially make the engine level based off of the oil pan. So you grab a level, and this is obviously not a level, but you grab a level and then you do this whole thing until the engine is flat, and that way the oil is flat on the actual engine. Okay, so with the magic of ghetto wooden stuff and a level and something that you shouldn't do at home, so the pan itself needs to be level so that whenever you put oil in the car, this exactly, like, the oil sits flush at the bottom and it picks it up correctly. So make sure your bubble's in the middle. Or we'll put the pilot bearing in here because it acts as a bit of a like an extension even for this. So we can put this on here, and this will tell us, because obviously this piece is too big, so we're gonna have to do some cutting up here. We're about to figure out how much. Okay, so this is level in terms of transmission level, and that is level for the motor. So it's a little weird, but this is how it's supposed to work. I got a mark on each side because I have to cut out a certain amount so that it sits all the way in. From here to right here, we're gonna just draw a line and cut across so that we're able to put this on here without interfering with the motor. Now we're just gonna remove these dowel pins nice and smoothly. That's a good sign. That means we could probably reuse these, because these are very important to keep everything centered. Oh yeah, smooth. I saw some people hammering these things out like, I don't know, they're going crazy. So precision is key, people. Gotta cut off a touch on. I just rather cut too little than too much. I need it to sit exactly where it's gonna fit. Ooh, that's beautiful. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. It fits like a glove. Now you can see the whole reasoning. The whole reasoning behind this cut is so that it's flush with the actual engine, or parallel, I guess. And then this is perfectly in center. And then if we do the bottom right now, I guarantee you it'll be perfectly level here as well. Perfection. See that? That little bubble in the center? Now you gotta find a spot to clamp this down without it moving. Now we should be completely flush all the way around and perfectly level. These bolts right here, we're gonna transfer them onto the other one, onto the plate with a center punch. That looks about right. Yep, that's it. It's real tight, but that's what we want. I'm trying to keep this simple to where anybody can do it at home, because I don't think everybody's gonna have fancy tools, so it's not fair if I do. Alright, so we have successfully drilled out all of our holes. The center hole, or at least all the holes that we can attach to the actual engine that are exposed on this side. There are other holes that are exposed on this side only, so we're gonna have to figure out a way afterwards, or in a second here, to find a couple of these. The more we can bolt, the stronger it'll be. So I'm gonna put a couple bolts through it. Okay, right there. So you guys can see there's essentially no play on this, which is what we want. If it were to have play, then it would be a big issue, because then you'd be driving down the road and you risk it shifting on you. The dowel pins will be another factor in making sure it doesn't shift on you. So when you put it in, it needs to be exactly this width. So with that being said, let's try and figure out where these dowel pins will go. Sometimes they like to be a little bit of a fuss. Sometimes they go in without a fight, like that. Okay, now we're gonna attempt to put it back on here, but if you guys notice, the amount that this sticks out is about the same this sticks out, so we may barely grab a little lip. And what we're gonna do is put it on there. Once we have it with all of our bolts in place and we're happy with it, you're going to hammer it on the opposite side so that you can get that mark on the actual adapter plate. So now it's hammer time. So this one here, our dowel pin is this one. We just have to open it up a touch. That's why in this one it won't go in. And then our second dowel pin is right here. That's our second dowel pin. We're gonna mark it exactly where it needs to be, center spot, and make sure you open it up just the perfect amount and just take it slow. I've been trying to not mess up, so if I feel like there's a single doubt, I'll stop and then I'll think about it, do some research, and come back. So this has been a mixture of different days. All right, guys, moment of truth. You guys are gonna see at the same time I am. Here are the dowel pins. Let's see if all this measuring paid off. Okay, should be it. This is a little hairy, but this is part of it, you know? Worst case scenario, we start all over again with a fresh piece. Oh, look at that. There is no play. And now we can ensure, now we can take out essentially the middle section, because we're not relying on this to center it anymore. The dowel pins will do that. So yeah, now we're gonna put the flywheel on here, and then without this, we'll measure how far up it comes from here to there, and then we'll go and draw a perfect circle and then cut it out. We're gonna give it about 1/4 of an inch of clearance, because we can't do a lot more, otherwise we'll interfere with this bolt. So our minimum is this. Actually, this corner is our smallest one here. Yeah, so whatever this from the middle to this is where we're going to make our measurement, because if we were to cut more, we would take away this actual mounting spot right here, and we're going to try and keep this one here. So it's at 6 inches exactly, and that is our minimum. After that, if we need to cut a touch more, we will, but we'll try and keep 6 inches for now. 1.49, depending who you ask. So 1.49. 1.49 divided by 2 equals 0.74 minus 6. So 5.2 inches from the edge. 5.254, so we're gonna be a hair under. Okay, and we're gonna go on this side, do the same. Update number 5469. If you're gonna do this at home, I'd say don't, because it sucks. 1/2-inch aluminum is very ballsy, but I guess I'd rather have overkill when it's all said and done. So this should be able to take any power I put to the W58 and the engine, both. It's just kicking my butt. Check this out. Definitely the best solution was drilling holes and then connecting the dots. This was the first time around, and it did good. And then I connected the dots with the router and the small body saw, is that what they call? And it did just fine. And over here, this is where I'm at now. It's doing good. I just got to go from there to there. There's probably better tools to cut 1/2-inch aluminum, but the guys where I bought the material, they cut it on the spot when I showed up, and they just made it look way too easy. So they have some serious machines. I don't know what they use in-house to cut aluminum 1/2-inch, but it literally took them like 3 seconds to cut this, and yeah, I don't know. This is the stance. If you know, you know. It's been 84 years and we're finally done. Connect the dots and then shave off till the line, but that shouldn't be too difficult. Should. We've used every tool in our arsenal, and I'll be honest, it's kicking my butt. I know there's a better way to do this. I wanted to showcase that you could do this at home. That's why I'm doing this. But the reality is, if I had to do this all over again, I would, but I would buy a better machine and invest a little bit more cha-ching. So keep that in mind. This is the one that takes all the chunks out. This is the good one. But first we gotta connect the dots. I'm gonna use a body saw. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, but this one does good. It just shakes the whole table. You guys get the satisfying part of just watching it fall. Get out of here. So now comes the satisfying part of actually cleaning it up, and I'm ready for this because I'm about to make the most perfect circle you've ever seen.
Close your eyes.
Huh?
Close your eyes.
Uh-oh.
Turn around.
Uh-oh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
No! Where are you looking down? Okay. Okay, you can look now. Because that's your favorite. No! Why?
Ah, that's good. Another day has gone by of grinding. Yes, it's taken me a minute. Yes, you guys are getting this video a touch later than you should, but guess what? We're accomplishing goals, and it wouldn't be a full, complete video build, and I wouldn't be satisfied unless we got this thing mounted together. So, we're doing that today, right now. Check this out. I'll probably go by and I'll probably sand this down a touch with the sandpaper just by hand, make sure it's like perfectly flat. But check it out. There we go. No play, no interaction. It's exactly what we wanted. We're going to make the cutout for the starter, which is this here. It should go in here and then be able to go in and out without any hesitation. So we're just gonna go ahead and chomp that whole thing off, and we're gonna take the liberty and trace around everything on this side to make sure we know exactly where we need to cut out so all this excess material is gone. It's actually not that heavy. Now that you have triple checked it, quadruple checked it, and made sure the engine is level to itself and then the transmission is level to itself technically, now you're at the part where you can, of course, the obvious, you center punch each hole of the transmission, making sure it doesn't shift at all. Make sure you have enough clamps on there. You don't want it shifting at all. And then in one go, I'm going to trace it out, make sure that I get the whole perimeter. Okay, so as you guys can see, we have took the liberty and already scribed a couple lines that we want to cut to, accelerate the cutoff process. So we're going to do like big chunks at a time so that we don't have to like, go little by little, because honestly, I don't have anything as good as whatever they had at the store. See, the thing is, we're going to essentially have to make both pieces come together, so we're going to cut out the widest part of the two so that we have the most material left and so that they're both as strong as they can be. I also picked up a carbide blade, which apparently is the ideal one, but I already used one. If you guys remember, I used the wood saw, which had a carbide blade on there already, but we got another one. Maybe the one I had was a cheap one, I don't know, so we're gonna give this one a shot. I cannot express the difference that it makes to use the proper tools. I thought I was, but in my defense, I thought I was. Okay, so we have gotten pretty far. At this point, we cut off a lot of what we had. All the weight is gone. This is relatively light. Okay, so now what we have to do is trim these little excess pieces, and by the looks of it, like right here, we're gonna leave it intact. All this is gonna stay, I think. Oh no, this after here it can come off. Okay, so actually we're gonna trace out this side, and if you guys notice, this is the back side of the engine. This is the shape of the engine. And then over here, this is the back of the transmission. And if you guys notice, the starter on the, the transmission is on the right, and the starter on the engine is on the left. Boo-hoo, we'll just have to cut this out, and this one will serve as structure. So what we're gonna be doing now is just carving out the little edges, making it that much more perfect so that we have a good quality product, and then let's see what we can do. I know I'm gonna get roasted in the comments. I deserve it because I was doing a lot of unsafe stuff with improper tools, so yeah, have fun with that. But you know, do your research before you do stuff like me so that you do it properly the first time and it doesn't take 10 days. So yeah, let's do this. We're gonna do the starter hole, which is gonna be the easiest one thanks to my woodworking things. So, for the sake of, well, I guess the table's toast anyways already. Yeah, I'm gonna need a new workbench. This one, to be honest, so fun fact, between all this chaos, I actually bought this table with my kitchen set inside the house. This was the island, and I turned it into a shop thing, so yeah, there's that. Now, we're gonna give it a nice little buff just for the sake of quality control. This is time for the truth. It's pretty easy to tell. It's pretty easy to tell which way it goes. The actual starter hole makes it a lot more obvious now. You guys can see the shape coming together. Let's see how she fits. Where is that thing? There it is. Look at this. Look at this. There is no wiggle. There is no play. This is perfect. If you had any play, I might have to clearance this starter thing a little bit more. I'll probably straighten it out. But if we had any more play, or any play at all, it would worry me. But since we have no play, this is perfect. Oh. Careful now, where are you going? Oh yes. For the sake of the video and thumbnail, I'm gonna bolt them together and then like show them without the, you'll see, it's gonna be fun. Let me throw some bolts and nuts on this thing and make it official. Okay guys, just got our thumbnail actually. I was trying to get a good thumbnail before I head out to work, as well as the BRZ finally getting finished. We were able to pull it out of the driveway without breaking my back, of course. So now that that's done, and now that we have successfully mounted the K24 to the W58 Supra transmission, I'm going to show you guys the finale or the reveal. Keep in mind, we're still going to do a couple things like add a couple of structural bolts, and I'm actually thinking about adding some dowel pins to the transmission as well, the transmission side, because, well, I don't know if it's an option. I'm going to try to see if that's a thing for those transmissions. That would make it to where they kind of have their precise location as well. Just like the engine side was a very fixed place, the transmission side can be a very fixed place as well, and that will ensure that perfection even better. Currently, transmission, the starter bolt here, we're using it to hold the transmission inside, but on a normal day, both the starter bolts will be going from the transmission, or from the block to the transmission side. I'm actually thinking about making this one go through. If you guys can see that, we have one that does a pretty good job at being on both sides. They're off by a little bit. I'm gonna see which of the two, hopefully they line up a little bit better, and that way I can have a couple bolts going all the way through the both engine, transmission, and adapter plate, like I said. On this side, I wasn't able to get a bolt through actually. You guys can tell, like this one will be able to come out this other side, but this one literally goes straight to the block. So I'll have to incorporate the actual thread to this inside the adapter plate. So this one will have a thread on this plate. Most of these, like this one, and this one, these two here will probably be able to have a little plate on this side or a thread on this side. The ones on the bottom are very easy. So those, they just bolt on. I just didn't do that. Like the ones on the bottom side, you guys can see, I didn't put bolts on every single one, but you guys can see these bottom ones fit just right. There's no modification required. All in all, guys, it's there. I'm surprised this wooden little piece of whatever this is actually worked. Fun fact, those pieces of wood were actually an old picnic table I had in the back. I chopped it up and made it work. I'm all about utilizing things and reusing stuff because it's the world we live in, whether you like it or not. it's best to recycle, and I'm all for it. So I try to do it where I can. One thing I forgot to mention is that right here, we may have to cut a little notch out of the bell housing because all in all, the starter will most likely interfere with this. So we'll probably have to cut a little piece of this off. No big deal. They require a lot of attention to detail because if you're not very meticulous, most likely you will blow your transmission or your engine or both. So we will find out for sure if something went wrong. You guys know the fitment in the car apparently should be spot on, and I wanted to test that out in this episode, but it will not be happening, as it's either me testing it out and you guys waiting a whole nother week to know about what I've done so far, or we'll just like try to nail that down in the next go round and try to go from there. I know I always try to end a video and I don't ever want to let you guys go. I'm like that clingy girlfriend or clingy significant other. One more thing and I will let you guys go. I'm actually going to be going to Drift Week 6. I should be able to go and drift with the big boys. And now that the BRZ is ready, we just need to dial that thing in and get the alignment straight and try to just make sure everything is bolted correctly and fastened down, and go over the car one whole time again just to make sure that it's not going to catch on fire in the middle of the track, which would suck. So yeah, with that being said, if any of you guys are going to Drift Week 6, hit me up. It'd be cool to see some of you guys there. I don't know. It'd just be cool to see some faces that have been watching. All the new guys out there, hit the like button, subscribe, post notifications. You guys know the deal. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.